Hi everyone, let's configure the private DNS zones. So if you see, we have in the previous video, we have provisioned virtual machines and then we hosted websites in these virtual machines. Then we have configured the backend targets for this load balancer and application gateway. Now we have to configure the private DNS zones. Now if you go into scenario, what is the need of going with the private DNS zones? If you see here, there's web 0101 VM and 02 VM, and similarly for web 0201 and 02 VM. So what happens in production, there would be lot of VMs and you can't go to each individually and check what is the IP address of that. Instead, if we can go and configure a private DNS zone, and it is easy to have a specific DNS names, and you can go and log in specifying that web 0201 and respective VM we can actually log in without any IP address. How do we do that? We achieve it through private DNS zones. Let's go ahead to the networking services, and if you see private DNS zones, there you go, here it is. And let me create one private DNS zone. I'll place it in West US. So I'll name it as websites.com and create. We see that the private DNS zone has been configured. If you go inside it, now we need to link the virtual networks to it. So what happens is once we link the private DNS zones to the respective virtual networks, for each virtual network, if you go and see, there will be a Azure DNS server pre-configured. Now, when we go and use a private DNS zone, it that respective this domain name, these respective domain names will be registered in the Azure DNS server, and through which we can actually, without the IP address, we can use the domain names to log in into the virtual machines. Now, let me go and add the virtual networks. So the name is VNet West US DNS link, and let me select VNet West US, and I'll enable auto registration. So whatever the VMs are there in VNet West US will have some domain names. Similarly, let me create a link for Central India. Similarly, let me do it for West Europe. So there you go. The DNS links have been successfully created. Now if you go and check, let's refresh it, it is completed. Now if you see, I haven't enabled auto registration for Central India. Let me go and do that. How can I do? I can click on this and I'll click on enable auto registration and I'll save it. So when you do this, now you will see record sets which are being created for the respective machines which are there in this respective VNets. So there you go. So the entire record sets are being created. I don't need this thing. So let me go and delete this record set and even this. So going forward, if I would like to log in into this VMs, I can use this respective names. So let's go and log in into the management VM. We can't use the private DNS name for logging into the management VM. So we have to give the VM private IP itself. That is dot. There we go. I mean that. Now from here, I can go and log in into web01. For that, web01 01.websites.com. Now I'm able to provide the password and I'm logged in into web01. Now, how is this possible? Because if you go into the management 01, that it is going and asking the DNS server which is in Azure configured. In that, the private DNS zone has configured the respective domain names, and that is why you are able to log in into this VM. Now, similarly, we can go and exit, and I can log in into web0102 machine. There we go. It's the same thing. Now, even I can log in into web02. Now I'm logged into web02. So this is how it works. So in the next video, let's go and validate how whether websites are working or not. So as per the scenario from internet, when we go and type in our browser www.web02.com, it has to redirect to the web02 web page. And similarly, when we are trying and clicking web01.com, it has to redirect to web01 page. Stay tuned. Thank you.